Real quickly before we begin, I want to thank this video's sponsor, CarMarshal.com. CarMarshal.com can save you lots of money on buying used or new vehicles, cars, trucks, school buses. If you want to save money, I'll have a link in the description down below. I know I'm going to...
James McLenis for Sheriff of Pinellas County. 1 HR. How the police industry is criminalizing our children. The state of Florida's knee-jerk reaction to the Parkland shooting by passing a law requiring armed security, school resource officers, to be placed in all schools comes with it an inherent danger to all of our children. Criminalization. The school-to-prison pipeline, some call it. I was recently made aware of an actual case here in Florida. Because of the ages of the kids, I of course will not be identifying them, their county, their school or any other specific details. I sat down and interviewed the mother of a 12-year-old girl caught in the trap being set at schools for our kids. Here is how it played out. A 13-year-old boy with a history of aggressive sexual harassment of female classmates and friends had obtained this 12-year-old girl's phone number and began communicating with her. After a short period of time, he sent her pictures of his genitals, which is something the investigation proved he had done multiple times to other girls. The boy then demanded that the 12-year-old girl reply with a provocative photo of hers in return. She declined. He persisted. She declined, he threatened. The boy literally threatened to kill the girl unless she provided the requested photo. Eventually she relented and sent him a photo of her breasts. The girl was afraid and did not tell anyone about the incident. Months pass by and the boy is caught doing the same thing to another girl, except this time, a complaint is filed with the school. The boy is brought into the office and questioned by school staff, which also demands he turn over his phone to the school resource officer, which in this case was a sheriff's deputy. Now, at this point, I must question the legality of the search, demand for the phone, or questioning the youth without his parents present or informing him of his rights, but this is how it goes down in a school setting. Authority figures surround the child, berate the child and demand cooperation, evidence, and a confession without following the Constitution. A child of 12 to 16 years old does not know the law, their rights, or how to respond other than to comply. Perhaps this is why they do not teach constitutional rights in middle or high school. When the boy's phone is turned over to the sheriff's deputy, he searches the phone and finds the photo of the 12-year-old's breasts and her contact info from the text thread. He reads the threats the boy made against the girl and brings the girl into the office for questioning as well. A second time a phone is demanded, a child berated and pressured, and constitutional rights thrown out the window. The girl shows her phone, admits she sent it, explains she was scared and threatened. The sheriff's deputy then charges the 12-year-old girl with transmitting pornography to a minor. This is a criminal sexual offense. Nowhere in the charge does it explain that it was one photo, it was of her and it was sent under threat of death. Without getting into a huge debate about whether or not a photo of a 12-year-old's breasts are pornography or not, we must at least acknowledge that perhaps teaching kids that their bodies are pornographic when these same images are everywhere is not a healthy message to anyone. A criminal charge designed to be used against sexual predator adults is used against a 12-year-old girl, the exact demographic the law was supposed to protect. The school expelled the young boy for his actions and he was charged with various crimes and sentenced to treatment, fines, spent time in juvenile detention, and pretty much has his life ruined. The 12-year-old girl was also criminally charged, threatened with expulsion, pressured into accepting a plea deal, and adjudicated a sexual offender and fined. The fact that she was literally threatened with being killed if she did not produce the photo seemed to not matter at all to the sheriff's office or prosecutors. Ultimately, the parents pleaded for their daughter to not be expelled and she was suspended for 2 weeks. What a great way to punish a child, take away their education. With the education they are receiving, perhaps this is a blessing? The details of the incident of course made the rounds at school. The girl was humiliated and bullied. Teachers treated her differently. Formerly a straight A student, her grades declined and she has a criminal record. Her school experience forever tainted and ruined. Could this have been handled differently? Of course. Should this 12-year-old girl been accused of a crime? Never. However, she is not the only child caught in the police industry's rush to charge everyone they can with crimes. This is a cautionary real-life story about the dangers of having police patrolling the halls of your child's school. I strongly suggest that every parent sit their kids down and teach them that if they ever find themselves being questioned by school officials or a police officer, to simply refuse to say anything and demand that their parents be called. Parents, I would strongly advise that if you find yourself in a similar situation and your child calls you, call an attorney and do not help prosecute your own child. The parent of this 12-year-old girl is furious that her daughter was charged, and they actually helped by being cooperative with the sheriff. They thought the sheriff was going after the boy for his conduct and threatening their daughter. But that was not the only threat their daughter faced. It did not used to be like this. As Sheriff of Pinellas County 2020, I fully intend on removing the threat of criminalizing our youth here in Pinellas County. Everything is not a crime like Sheriff Robert Gualtieri thinks it is. I will start by training all of my deputies on the constitutional rights of every citizen, including our children. Vote James McLenis for Sheriff of Pinellas County in 2020 to bring sanity back to policing.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use. And also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County, and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.